Hi Homeworthy, I'm Kyra. Welcome to my home in Los Angeles, California. I'd love to show you around.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Before today's episode, click the join button below to support all of the storytelling we do on this channel. Our growing community of members help to directly fund more videos so we can capture these extraordinary homes from around the world. So join today to receive early and exclusive access to new Homeworthy videos.
Welcome to the living room. So this is a craftsman style house built in 1923. I feel like this house found me more than I found it. My husband and I were moving from Canada to LA, and it just so happened that my brother and sister-in-law were also looking to move, and they were looking for a new house. We were hoping to buy, but we figured we would end up renting. And my brother and sister-in-law, they found this property, and it actually has two houses on it, and you have to buy them together. You have to buy the whole property with both houses, which it turns out not that many people want, surprisingly. So we saw the house, we all fell in love with it, and we got really lucky and we got it, and now we live on this property, and my brother and sister-in-law are right beside us, and it's been amazing so far. So this is actually the first and only house I've lived in LA, so I consider myself very lucky. The best thing about this whole house is that it came with so much personality. Every room is a little bit different, and I didn't want to make the whole house totally uniform and cohesive, so I kind of just leaned into the personality of every room. So as you can see, this room has wood paneling and vaulted ceilings, so my mind kind of went to like a cabin. So what I wanted this room to feel like is that we're at like a cozy cabin in the mountains. So that's kind of how the decor in this room looks. So I used to think that you had to spend a lot of money on art, but a lot of my favorite things hanging in our house are actually very inexpensive. So these black and white prints here were $5 each at an antique store, and they're super cool. These are stills from 1950s action movies, and they suit the room really well. This here is another vintage find, and you can see the detail of the frame. It's hand carved and just super, super beautiful. We get questions about this area quite a bit. It's our little vinyl area, so we have all of our vinyls displayed in here, and then our record player, our speaker, and this is a Hay design lamp. I believe it's Scandinavian. A cool part of this room is this ladder that goes up to the crawl space up here. I'm curious what they used it for back then, but we just use it for storage right now. In this corner, you see a lot of the kind of Western accents that go with the cabin theme. So up here we have a vintage horseshoe and a cowboy portrait. We have a Route 66 bookend and a little silver plate that has horses on it. This is kind of my booze and books corner. So I was on the hunt for a fireplace screen for a really long time, and nothing was suiting the room, nothing was jumping out at me, and I just found this brass one on Facebook Marketplace, and it has the shell detailing. I'm a sucker for shells, I'm a sucker for kind of coastal items, so I found this, fell in love with it, went and picked it up, and I love how it works in the room. Over here, it's definitely hard to pick a favorite vintage item I've ever found, but this marble coffee table is just amazing, and I think it's something that we'll have forever. So it's definitely up there in my top 5. This rug is from Ruggable. It matches the tones of the coffee table perfectly, and honestly, we kind of have to have a Ruggable rug in our house because we have 2 dogs, and they drag in dirt sometimes, so. Cabinet items, we have the tennis rackets, and I just found this at an estate sale the other day. It is a frame in the shape of a boat's steering wheel. It's super fun. So this is our main living room and where we hang out the most when we have people over. But our second living room, or our family room, is where me and my husband and my dogs hang out the most. Let me show you. So welcome to the family room. Like I said, this is where we spend most of our time. I was so excited that this house had a built-in and kind of like a breakfast nook because I've always wanted that. So my husband and I, we eat at this table all the time. We both work at this table sometimes. And as you can see, the room gets amazing natural light, which is really important for me. I work in content creation, so I'm very lucky in that sense. And then I'm also the founder of a home decor line called Villa Francesca. These throw pillows here are from my own line, and yeah, they suit the room perfectly, I think. So all the patterns in my line are inspired by something, mostly by vintage items. So this one here is a classic floral print, but it's actually inspired by vintage wallpaper. So you can actually see some really amazing vintage wallpaper in this room. The house came with it, of course, but it's one of my favorite things in the whole house. So the theme of this room is kind of English countryside, and that was largely inspired by the wallpaper that the house came with. So I really, again, just wanted to lean into the foundation of the room. So I just went with something bright and airy because we spend so much time in this room. I just want it to feel kind of happy and comfy. So yeah, when I saw this wallpaper, I was very excited. I would never dream of getting rid of it. I will say we get the occasional comment that someone is surprised that we kept it because it's a little bit grandma-ish, I suppose, but I love it. So this coffee table is vintage Moroccan brass, and the rug is a vintage Turkish rug. The colors are very Victorian though, which you don't often see in Turkish rugs, so I thought that was really cool, and it goes so well with the room. As you can see, I love throw pillows. This is a mix of a bunch of things. We've got some vintage, we've got Ralph Lauren, of course. Some of these are just fabrics that I bought downtown LA in the fabric district and then just made pillows that match the room. And then these are more from my own line, Villa Francesca. This little curtain was actually my grandmother's, and it fits this window perfectly. So as you can tell, I love vintage items, but I do like to balance it out with modern pieces here and there. So things like this acrylic side table, and I've just gone and stuffed it with a bunch of books. So when we moved in, I was a different person, I guess, and we bought a blue velvet couch, and I did like it for a little bit, but as it turns out, it was not what I wanted to keep. So this is actually covered in a slip cover, and it works perfectly. People are usually surprised. This little corner is just a bunch of vintage items that I found. The Rose Bowl Flea is an iconic flea market in LA, and both this ballerina print and this brass egret are from there. I try to go every month, and I always have great finds from there. So my husband, he loves sports and he loves film, so having a giant TV is kind of a non-negotiable in our house. So in terms of what inspires me when decorating, as you can tell, I really do like to be inspired by the charm of a house. I feel like personally I have a lot of styles, even in my clothing. Sometimes I'm very girly, very feminine. Sometimes I dress a little bit more like 70s inspired with suedes and browns. So I don't really like to have one specific style or to narrow it down too much. And that really is the best thing about this house, is that I kind of get to portray my different personalities and my different styles in all the different in all the different rooms. But I find inspiration in so many places, as you can probably tell, in a lot of things that are vintage. And I actually just recently got a big box of old Architectural Digest magazines from someone's grandmother. So these are all from the 90s, and there's some really, really cool images in them. There's one right here as well. I really, really love the cover of this one. I feel like it's honestly so modern still. Next we'll go into the primary bathroom. So the bathroom came like this. The previous owners had incredible taste, and we're really lucky we didn't have to do any major renos, at least not so far. So it's covered from ceiling to floor in this beautiful blue tile. It's so fun. And we have this clawfoot tub, and I have to say I wasn't a bath person before, but I had to become a bath person once I realized I had this tub. I really love when a room just makes an impact. So once again, I was so obsessed with this bathroom when I saw it, and the blues are just they just make so much sense for a bathroom. And I added this sailboat painting, which I thought was kind of funny and a little bit meta, right over top of the bathroom. But this is really just a calming space with a book and a candle lit. Taking a bath in here, it's very serene, and it's very nice. The house came with the stained glass as well. I believe it was original to the house. Super beautiful, goes with the tile so well. And kind of a funny story, this bathroom looks out into our deck area, and this glass used to just be normal glass, not totally see-through. So if someone was using the bathroom in here and you were having dinner outside, you would kind of see a little bit too much. So I had to add this kind of frosted glass feature to give people a little bit more privacy. We also have this seat cover that is a little bit polarizing. People either love it or they hate it, but I think it's very fun. And I think I mentioned earlier, I really love kind of seaside and coastal themes. So I think it's great. Now we'll head into the kitchen. So once again, the house came like this. It came with the pink wallpaper and the pink tile, and I have to say I'm very thankful that my husband is not afraid of a little bit of pink, because I love this kitchen. It's very happy. You get lots of natural light coming in, and when you're cooking or prepping or cleaning, you can actually see directly outside to the deck. So if people are hanging out there, you can even open this window and chat through the window. So in a kitchen, I feel like one of the best ways to show your personality and your personal style is through open shelving and kind of displaying your favorite items. So throughout my house, I have lots of plates displayed, but I have plates and my favorite olive oils, my favorite cookbooks, and I really feel like you can see a lot of personality come through in items like that. Both my husband and I, we both love to cook and we love to host. So working with a very small kitchen has been interesting. It has been a learning curve, but we really make do. We actually have hosted Thanksgiving 2 years in a row. And we have pizza parties every couple weeks. We have a pizza oven on the deck, and we mostly cook, I would say, Italian food and Mediterranean inspired food. So I don't plan on getting rid of the wallpaper or changing out the pink tile, but because we love to cook, we do want to expand on our kitchen in the future. So we plan on using this additional room, probably knocking down this wall and then adding a full wall of additional counter space right in here. So when we saw this house, this room was actually staged as kind of a small dining room or a breakfast nook. But again, because we need more counter space, we need more room to prep and cook, we decided to just add temporary counter space in here. So we have a butcher block, and then one of my favorite pieces in the whole house, this was also from the Rose Bowl Flea. It is a antique washing stand, and it has this beautiful, beautiful blue and white tile and this marble, and it has been a staple in this house since I got it. This little area is where I display all my functional but cute kitchen items. So things like my silver butter dish and my cutting boards and more olive oil. This stained glass lamp is something that I found recently at a vintage store, and I just had it hung up, and it suits this little corner so perfectly. Again, this is such a happy place to just be prepping and cooking, and I really love being in here. So again, I love open shelving, I love glass cabinets, and I really use this as a way to display some of my favorite vintage glassware and serveware. So these are super fun, also from the Rose Bowl Flea. They're kind of like 60s Palm Springs style. We use them for Arnold Palmers in the summer. This is my favorite teacup. It has 4-leaf clovers on it. And then I have lots of fun floral plates like these and this, and crystal glassware is my favorite thing to drink out of. So this plate is actually from Lucca, Italy, which is a small town not too far from where my Italian family is originally from. And it's also not far from where my husband and I recently got married this summer. Now we'll head over to the newest space in our house, which is the deck. So as I mentioned, we love hosting, we love throwing dinner parties. And when we moved in, we didn't have much outdoor space, so building a deck was kind of a top priority for us. So when we bought the house, you can see actually the wood, you can see the old wood here, and it was just a narrow little walkway as well as a gravel pathway going this way. So you could just barely fit a dining table. So we just built this in the fall and we use it constantly. So my husband and I, we love to host dinner parties. We usually collab on the food, but I love doing the tablescapes. So I usually have a theme, whether it's pizza night and it's a totally Italian theme, or it's just like a nice lunch we're having. I would do something more like a blue and white coastal theme. But really, I would say we have people over every single week. And we also have guests come to stay with us in LA all the time. So having a place to hang out outside is really important for us. And we're also from Canada, so making use of the outdoor space throughout the entire year is amazing, because in Canada you usually only get a couple months of that. So I don't know if you noticed inside, but we actually don't have an oven. And because we like to cook, we've really had to improvise and find new and creative ways to cook. So we use our barbecue all the time. And I recently bought my husband a pizza oven for his birthday, and we've been using this constantly. He's really nailed the homemade dough, and it's probably one of our main dinner parties that we have now. So home means to me making it somewhere that I really want to be. Don't get me wrong, I love traveling, I love going out, I love trying new restaurants, but I really am always aiming to make my home feel like the place that I want to be and feel like my own little haven, and also somewhere that my friends and family want to be. We're really lucky. We have people come visit us all the time. Actually, just last month we had 3 straight weeks of guests coming to stay with us, and that's definitely the norm. And people, they often just say that they love being here, they love hanging out, they love coming to our dinner parties, and that means everything to me. That's just exactly what I'm going for. And you know, our house isn't huge or anything, but I think it's very comfy and it's a very kind of happy and cozy place to be. So I never would have dreamed that we'd live beside family. I feel like in this day and age, that's so hard to come by. So we're very, very lucky that we live beside my brother and sister-in-law. We hang out with them almost every day, I would say. And it's just like having a little built-in community. So it's really lovely. So we have a little fire pit area over here, and this is where people usually gather while we're still cooking. They grab a drink and they hang out over here. And then as you can see, the backyard extends up there. We have a ton of garden space, and we actually have grapefruit trees and lemon trees. So when we need something, we just run out and pick it from the tree, which is really awesome. And we have 2 dogs, and they absolutely love having this giant green space to run around in. Now I'm going to take you upstairs to our primary bedroom. Watch your step, it's very steep. Welcome to the bedroom. So for me, I always want my bedroom to feel very calm and peaceful. I never want it to feel cluttered or even like it has like too much color. So as you can tell, the theme is kind of blue and white. It's kind of coastal and seaside. And the reason I went with that theme is because the wraparound windows really make me think of a cottage or even a tree house. But the windows as well as the walls were previously wood paneling, as you can tell, and now they're painted white, and it kind of reminds me of shiplap and gives that sort of seaside feel. So I personally love the coastal look. I don't think I could commit to an entire house of that aesthetic, but I really love it for the bedroom, and I really find it very peaceful and like it's somewhere I want to be. So this little mini bench is from Olive Ateliers, which is kind of an iconic shopping spot in LA. And then I've just outfitted it with a couple seaside inspired items like my sailboat and my shell. And then this is a vintage frame and a vintage candle sconce. My husband says this looks medieval. And then the photo in here is from Capri, Italy, which is one of my favorite spots. For bedding, I always love linen. I just find it so airy and light and comfy. So I would say my bed is usually covered in linen. And then these are more pillows from my brand Villa Francesca, and they are inspired by Delft tiles or Mediterranean tiles. So this is one of my favorite corners in the house. I absolutely love lamps. I don't know if you could tell, but I think this one is my favorite one. It's a vintage Ralph Lauren lamp. And then I have it matched with some plates on display up here. And this one is from Maine, and it has a lobster on it. And fun fact, lobster rolls are my favorite food. So it goes with the coastal vibe in here. The rug in here is just from Zara Home. I actually find that they have really great rugs. And the rug on the other side is from the Citizenry, and the quality of their rugs is always amazing. So I recently found this painting at an estate sale, and it looks a lot like El Matador Beach in Malibu, which is one of my favorite beaches here. So I was really excited to find it, and it was actually only $5, which is crazy. A cool feature in this room is this built-in mirror, and people are always very surprised, but this door leads to a bathroom. It just looks like it's a closet, but it's a bathroom. But this kind of built-in arched mirror is very beautiful. So when we moved in, this was kind of a nothing room. There was nothing in it, and I decided to make it kind of a vanity room. So I added this toile wallpaper that goes with the rest of the bedroom, a little vanity console, and it's just where I keep my perfume and some of my jewelry and other trinkets. And it's actually just a walkway into our closet, which is right through there. Honestly, my best advice for sourcing vintage is to just do it a lot. Whether you're going to estate sales or thrift stores or flea markets, I do find that you just have to have patience, and you have to go pretty often and just kind of keep your mind open. Also be aware of what you're looking for and what you need in your house. But I do feel like just like having an open mind and sifting through things, and you're more than likely gonna find something awesome.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.